Welcome to Arise Entertainment 360.
Now, arts programs in public schools across America have been having their programming and their funding slashed, and that is leaving a great need. Reggie Young is trying to meet that need by getting instruments in the hands of as many children as possible.
Reggie is a Grammy Award-winning session bassist, and he's just a really awesome guy and jazz artist. Reggie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
So, Reggie, we understand that you have your roots, like where you sort of learned to play and you got your rhythm in a church here in New York State.
Yeah, basically in churches throughout Brooklyn and Queens and Long Island. I've played in a lot of different churches, but I grew up in church, so I was always fascinated by the musicians, you know, as a youngster. And started on drums, and then I switched. Church was saturated with drummers.
Absolutely.
Everybody plays drums.
Yeah.
So you kind of sitting there waiting, when can
For
I
your
play?
turn.
Yeah.
So, now, do you think it's important as an artist to know different various musicians and as far as instruments?
For like different varieties of music? Yeah, definitely. And I think it's even important as an artist to try to understand what the role of each instrument may be, so that when you get into fine-tuning your artistry, it's helpful. It's like an artist that paints, right? But they're not too familiar with how to blend colors. You know, so it's like, well, how do you? I'm not saying you can't be an effective musician. You know, like if you're just a singer, you're just a singer. That's fine. Your voice is beautiful. You use that tool. You know, but it's excellent to understand the other tools too, and then know how that tool complements your voice, how your voice complements that tool.
So I've heard your music, and I'm actually a fan of yours.
Yes.
But how would you describe yourself in genre? Because
or your sound. Yeah.
Sometimes I speak to artists, and they say everyone describes me this way, but this is how I describe myself. So how do you describe yourself, Reggie?
How do I describe myself? A confused artist.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, because I love so much music. You know, I've shared stage and played for so many big name artists: Alicia Keys, Lenny Kravitz, Ruben Studdard, to gospel musicians as well. So my vision for what I want to do for my music, it's kind of like, you know, it's funny because we were in the studio. I'm working on a new album now. My current album is Reggie Young, Young Street, which we just released July of 17. Not just released, but it's still new to me. So we're working on a new one now, and I was telling the guys in the studio, I was like, I guess it's kind of like gumbo music in the sense of a little bit of everything is in there. So I have people saying, yeah, you could definitely hear the gospel stuff. I'm getting a lot of people saying like they're hearing like a New Orleans kind of vibe, like festive vibe in my music, which is strange because, not strange, you know, music is the universal language, but I'm not from there at all. No family from there, no roots, but I love the music from there. So maybe, you know, the influence is strong there as well.
I'm
Maybe
sure
in
it
a
is.
past life or something like that.
Yes, and I know you're trying to get your instruments in the hands of young children.
Yeah,
Tell us
that's
about
so
that
important
movement.
to me. I do a music festival. Actually, this is our first year that we're launching this festival. We do it in Manhattan right now out of a venue called The Cutting Room. And it's kind of like a spring-summer series of a fest, right? And what I try to do is, it started last year. We did I did a really nice holiday show, and I had a couple of my band members look out to see, like a lot of them are school teachers. You know, these guys teach and work in schools, and I said, well, let me know if you know of any kids that, you know, they're playing instruments but they don't have. And my trumpet player, Steve, actually, he's a teacher at a school in Manhattan, in the Bronx, and he had a student that played bass, but they let her take the school bass home. Because she doesn't, you know, she can't, you know, afford a bass. She doesn't have one, but she's a bass player. So what I did was we surprised her at the day of the show and presented her with a bass. It's on my Instagram page and Facebook page.
Wow.
Like it was
powerful.
a complete meltdown.
This is so exciting. I want everyone to hear your sound and your genius. I want to bid everyone farewell because that's sort of the end of Arise Entertainment 360, and the wonderful Reggie is going to close us out with your latest song, please.
Thank you so much. So don't go
stick.
anywhere. We're going to listen to Reggie. Shannon and Couture are live in LA, so we'll see you next week on Monday. Good day and have a good night.